He found an alien woman hiding in his house. He was very surprised at the beginning. Ethan Cole wasn't the kind of man who believed in extraordinary things. He lived a quiet, simple life on the outskirts of Crescent Valley, a town so small that most people passed through without noticing it existed. He worked remotely as a programmer, rarely left his two-story farmhouse, and lived alone with his dog, Max. The house had once been his grandparents' and carried the comforting smell of old pine wood and dusty books. Life was predictable, exactly how Ethan liked it, until the night everything changed. It started on a Friday evening when the storm rolled in, heavy rain lashed against the windows, and thunder rumbled across the valley. Ethan was preparing tea when Max began barking frantically at the basement door. The dog's hackles were raised, his growl sharp and unrelenting. "Relax, Max," Ethan muttered, setting the mug down. "It's probably just the wind." But the sound wasn't the wind. It was a soft thump, followed by a scrape. Ethan froze. His farmhouse was old, but he knew every sound it made. This was different. Someone or something was in his basement. Heart racing, he grabbed a flashlight and a baseball bat. Easing the door open, Max darted ahead, barking wildly. Ethan descended the creaking wooden steps, the beam of his flashlight slicing through shadows. At first, he saw nothing unusual. The basement was cluttered with boxes, tools, and his grandparents' old furniture. Then he heard it, a ragged breath. He swung the light toward the far corner, and that's when he saw her. A woman crouched behind a stack of boxes, her wide, luminous eyes catching the light like a cat's. She looked terrified, her skin pale and almost shimmering. Her dark hair clung wetly to her face, and she was trembling, clutching something metallic against her chest. Ethan's grip tightened on the bat. "Who the hell are you? What are you doing in my house?" She flinched at his voice, her lips parting. But when she spoke, it wasn't in English or any language Ethan recognized. The sound was melodic, almost musical, but completely alien. That's when it hit him. This wasn't just some stranger hiding from the storm. Something about her didn't fit. Her eyes were too large, too bright. Her skin seemed to shift faintly in color, reflecting the flashlight's beam like liquid crystal. Max stopped barking. He approached the woman cautiously, tail wagging, and to Ethan's shock, the woman reached out and touched the dog gently. Max immediately calmed, as though she had some strange influence over him. Ethan's pulse hammered. He had just found an alien woman hiding in his basement, and she was looking at him like she desperately needed his help. For a long moment, Ethan didn't know what to do. Call the police? The government? The military? Every instinct told him this was dangerous, that he should get out while he could. But something about her trembling figure kept him rooted to the spot. He lowered the bat slowly. You're not from here, are you?" he asked quietly. Her glowing eyes locked on his. She didn't answer in words, but gave the smallest shake of her head. Ethan exhaled shakily, leaning against the wall. His entire worldview was collapsing in seconds. An alien in his house. Over the next hour, he tried to communicate. She understood a little English, but gradually, through gestures and broken words, Ethan pieced together fragments of her story. Her name, or something close to it, was Leora. She had crash-landed in the woods just beyond Crescent Valley 3 nights ago. She was fleeing something, though Ethan couldn't grasp exactly what. She gestured upward often, pointing at the stormy sky with fear in her eyes. Whatever hunted her wasn't human. She was injured, too. When she shifted, Ethan noticed a deep gash along her side, glowing faintly as though her blood carried its own light. She had tried to heal herself with the strange metallic device she carried, but it flickered weakly, its power failing. Ethan didn't know why she had chosen his house. Perhaps by accident. Perhaps because she had sensed kindness in him. Either way, she was here now, and she needed help. Against his better judgment, Ethan found himself fetching bandages, clean water, and food. She refused most of the food, but accepted water eagerly, her hands trembling as she drank. When he pressed gauze to her wound, she winced but didn't resist. Her skin was warm, softer than it looked, and faintly luminescent in the dim basement light. "Why me?" Ethan muttered as he worked. "Why my house?" Leora looked at him, then really looked, and for the first time, her lips curved into the faintest smile. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He lay awake listening to the storm and thinking about the alien woman in his basement. His rational mind screamed that he should report her, but another part of him, the part stirred by her frightened eyes, refused. The next day, he discovered just how much danger she was truly in. While driving into town for groceries, Ethan noticed unmarked black vehicles parked near the woods. Men in dark suits combed the area with scanning equipment. One of them stopped Ethan, asking casually if he had seen anything unusual. The man's tone was friendly, but his eyes were cold and sharp. Ethan lied, shaking his head. Nothing out of the ordinary. But his heart pounded all the way home. Whoever those men were, they were searching for Leora. Back at the farmhouse, she was waiting near the window, her eyes wide with worry. She had seen the vehicles too. Through halting words, she tried to warn him. "They find me. Bad." Ethan swallowed hard. He was in over his head. Harboring her meant risking everything. His freedom, maybe even his life. Yet as days passed, he couldn't bring himself to turn her in. She was learning quickly, picking up English at an astonishing pace. She asked questions about everything. The house, Max, the stars. Her voice was soft and musical, carrying a sadness Ethan couldn't ignore. And in return, Ethan began to see the world through her eyes. She marveled at rain, laughed at the taste of strawberries, and wept quietly when she saw a bird soar into clouds. She was a fugitive, yes, but also a living being who longed for freedom, not captivity. It wasn't long before Ethan realized he cared for her more than he should, but the danger was closing in. One night, as they sat by the fireplace, a low hum filled the air. Leora stiffened, eyes glowing brighter. Ethan followed her gaze outside and saw lights sweeping over the valley. Not helicopters, not drones, something else. "They come," she whispered. Ending. The chase began that very night. Ethan and Leora fled the farmhouse just minutes before the black vehicle surrounded it. Max barked wildly as they escaped the backfields, Ethan clutching Leora's failing device in one hand and dragging her by the other. She was weak from her wound, but determination burned in her eyes. They reached the woods, where Leora stopped and pressed a metallic device to the ground. It flickered, releasing a pulse of light that rippled across the trees. A faint shimmer appeared in the air, a portal unstable but real. "This home," she breathed. "Must go." Ethan's chest tightened. He didn't want her to leave, not after everything, but he knew she couldn't stay. The men were closing in, and Earth wasn't safe for her. "Wait," he said, gripping her hand. "Will I ever see you again?" She hesitated, her glowing eyes searching his face. Then, slowly, she leaned forward and pressed her forehead to his, a gesture that filled Ethan with a warmth unlike anything he'd ever felt. "You saved me," she whispered in broken English. "I remember." With that, she stepped into the portal. Light enveloped her, and in an instant, she was gone. The portal snapped shut just as flashlights cut through the woods. Ethan was alone. Holding Max close as armed men swarmed the area. They found nothing, not the alien, not the device, not even traces of the portal. Just a bewildered man with a dog. Weeks passed. The farmhouse was rebuilt. The men eventually left, and life in Crescent Valley returned to normal. But Ethan was no longer the same. Every night, he looked at the stars, wondering where Leora was, wondering if she remembered him as much as he remembered her. Then one evening, months later, as he sat on the porch with Max, a faint shimmer appeared in the field. A voice, soft and musical, whispered on the wind. "Ethan." His heart skipped. She was out there, and someday she would return.